So 17 years ago, my family and I started the nonprofit organization Because People Matter. It was started, a local church invited me to come up from the church that you and I were serving at, Russ, and they asked me to come up and basically said, hey, we're going to give you 3 years salary to come do something here in Portland, see what you can do.
Do you want to know how amazing people connect? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie. Today's episode brought to you by Shortstop's Hamburgers, Shakes, and Fries in Albany, Oregon, and Keller Williams Mid-Willamette. Well, hello again, everybody. Russ here with another episode of Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie. Today, we are with my good friend, Marshall Snider, and Marshall and I go way back to years ago when we were on staff together at a church here in Dallas, Oregon. And what a wonderful man of God he is. What a great individual. And so glad to have you here today, Marshall. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks, Russ, for having me.
You bet. You bet.
Yeah.
So before we jump into everything, Marshall is going to talk about all kinds of exciting things today. He is the head of a nonprofit organization, Because People Matter, that is awesome. And he's going to talk a little bit about that, a few other things. But before we get into that, I just want to remind you that if you want to get in touch with me, the best way to do that is at russhedge.com. It's got links to all my social media and all the ways to get in touch with me. I am a positive, upbeat coach and motivational speaker here to help you and just spread encouragement and joy. And so today, if you want to get in touch with me, remember russhedge.com. And we'll move on from that. With no further ado, we're going to go straight to Marshall. And Marshall, give us a little information about yourself.
Well, I am a little information about myself. So I'll give you a little bit. My mission statement is to encourage, equip, inspire, and model fully alive living in life and leadership. So that's kind of the focus of what I do in my life. I have a couple values that I live my life by, which is optimal living, radical responsibility, transformational leadership, and ridiculous generosity. Those are kind of my theme words that kind of guide and direct me. I'm been married to my bride, Leslie, for 27 years. She's from England. I met her in college, and that English accent just kind of like took over. And I was like, I'm marrying that girl. And then I have 2 grown men, sons, Samuel Snider, who's getting married this weekend. I'll be flying to New Mexico tonight. Well, we leave tomorrow morning, but we're going up to the airport tonight. And then I have my youngest, who's 21, and he is music guy and making music and a business major and stuff like that. So I've been in leadership development with both for-profit and nonprofit now for almost 30 years in different aspects of leadership across the board. And it has been a joy of mine and a kind of a constant thing I can't get away from. So I love leadership. I'm a geek in it, and I love to study it. I have a master's in, my master's is in leadership studies with an emphasis on authentic leadership. So,
wow. It's just amazing how time flies to me. And, I think that I'm one of the most high, upbeat individuals with the most energy until I meet Marshall. And then I remember Marshall is just like ridiculously full of energy. And, even as the years go by, it's all how we feel, right, Marshall?
That's right.
Stay healthy, you stay strong. And we're going to talk more about that. But let's talk about Because People Matter. You've always felt that way, but this is actually an organization. Tell us about it.
Right. So 17 years ago, my family and I started the nonprofit organization Because People Matter. It was started, a local church invited me to come up from the church that you and I were serving at, Russ, and they asked me to come up and basically said, hey, we're going to give you 3 years salary to come do something here in Portland, see what you can do. And I think they wanted me to plant a church, but I didn't get that. I just kind of got this, like, we're just going to love on the city. I'm from Portland all my life, born and raised. I was born at OHSU, and there was just a lot of need in the city. And so we just really felt like our goal was to come and serve the city. And that's what we did. And so we we started serving children and families, and started serving the working poor and the houseless community. But we started mobilizing individuals. And so the mission statement of the organization is loving people because people matter. And so it just fit to take the name because people matter. The mission statement is loving people because people matter. And we do that in three ways. We do that by creating opportunities for mobilization, relief, and development. And so we mobilize about 10,000 volunteers a year. So we've mobilized over 100,000 people through the organization. We've mobilized groups, or individuals, groups, and organizations. So we've mobilized groups like Nike and Intel and large churches, small churches, the faith community, groups across the board. We mobilize them, and we've done individuals, so we worked with families and different ones that want to come and do things as well, into service and into opportunities to further generosity through their time, treasure, and talent. So that's the mobilization arm. And we do short-term trips where kids from all over the U.S. come in and they do these trips. Some of them are mission trips for churches, but a lot of them are secular colleges and groups. And we just do educational pieces and understanding how poverty is at work in an urban core. And then the next part is relief. And so we have two primary programs that we do called B-Town Kids, which focuses on 4 areas in Gresham and Portland. We have about 1,100 children that we feed and do an asset-based curriculum where we're actually doing development work within the community. So we meet with community leaders, train that community leader up, and then they actually run the site. So we're actually working with the indigenous people groups within that community, giving them an opportunity for some way to provide a transformational and developmental approach in their own community. And they work with the community, and we fund it and help train them up so that they can actually, because we feel like, hey, it's great for us. We're a great organization, but a lot of times we go in with all these ideas and all these things, and we do more of a hero. We're like, come as a hero. We don't want to be a hero. We want to be empowerers. So we want to empower community members to actually serve in their own community and change their own community from within. It's more sustainable because that community stays within its own realm. So B-Town Kids is really about that. So it's a 2-part thing, community development as well as working with children and helping them. And then we do a night strike deal, which is Thursday nights. We're kind of known for that. So every Thursday night for the past 17 years, we've been under the Burnside Bridge, cutting hair, washing feet, giving clothing, food. We have a social work group that comes and helps create opportunities for people to connect with needs. And we're just giving people that opportunity to develop themselves from maybe where they're at to a better place, a more sustainable living situation. And they determine what that looks like for them. We don't determine that. And that might be that they get a driver's license. It might be that they get a housing opportunity, whatever. We point that to the resources, but then we take care of those really basic felt needs. And so that's that. And then our development piece is kind of a new piece where we're working with individuals, groups, and organizations as well. So I work, do individual coaching with individuals, and then work with groups like schools and different organizations, and then businesses. So I'm working with companies, work with Lazy Boy of Portland. I've worked with Safety Electric down in Salem, working with Kintech Technology here, and doing a lot of leadership development that help organizations become more transformational leadership focused. So they're actually becoming organizations that are people development organizations, and they use the work that they do as the curriculum to develop human beings. So that's my passion, is that the workplace is a place where you actually are going and being developed to become a better person because you work there. So
Right.
That's a little bit of a funding mechanism for us as well, to help us fund the organization as well. And so that's basically what BPM is all about. So
I really love that. I mean, the whole theme of this podcast is how amazing people connect, and the way you have connected with that community, with the people, a lot of the people that everybody doesn't want to have anything to do with, you're out there connecting with and making a difference. I just think that is so awesome. And, you talked about transformational leadership and really moving forward. And that is so important, was reading on, I think, one of your Facebook pages that was talking about not transactional leadership, but transformational leadership.
Yeah.
And I think right now with our climate and everything going on in the Portland area and all the stuff that's going on, that's so important.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. I was looking at this, I have this like a habits, it's like a habits of transformational leadership. And I love that it says, we lead from the future and we act in the now, right? We take responsibility. We play above the line. We seek growth. We embrace the obstacle. We embrace obstacles as the way. And right now with COVID, the way it is, it's kind of the triple threat. When you barrel down all the basic human fears, it comes down to three things: a loss of relationship, a loss of control, and a loss of safety and security. And right now, that's COVID. It's all three of those, and it's a big deal. So
yeah, it's a crazy time. It's
yeah,
crazy
helping
time we
people
live in.
navigate through that is important. So
Yeah. So, the power of personal values is really important to you. Talk a little bit about that in the last few minutes we have. Talk about the power of personal values.
well, it has a lot to do. I did some study on the word integrity, and I'm going to look it up here again. I want to make sure I say it. And I think integrity, a lot of people kind of make it a shallow word. They say it's the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles or moral uprightness, right? And I think that I love the second part of that verse. It says the state of being whole and undivided. And a lot of times people, they have not taken the time, and I know as coaches this is what we do. We help people to stop, pause, take time to define who they are so
Right.
that they can actually move forward in their life. And because what happens is at the end of the night, my integrity is not going to be determined by what Russ Hedge thinks about me, although that's important to me, or what even my wife thinks about me, if I'm honest. I mean, I want her to think good things of me, but honestly, at the end of the night, am I who I say I am? Am I living the mission to encourage, equip, and inspire and model uh, greatness in life and leadership, or fully alive living in life and leadership? And then am I living those core values of an optimal life, optimal living, radical responsibility, transformational leadership, and a ridiculous generosity? So when I go to bed at the end of the night, or when I'm looking at how I'm doing, I use that as my filter, or if you will, the goggles that I look at life through. And when I have those, I can say, yes, I'm a man of integrity, because that's how I define integrity, that I am the state of being whole and undivided. And so for me, those core values, that power of core values, and you obviously you do as a coach, we help people determine their values. We help with the exercise to pull on. And you know what? You actually have them at work in your life. You just don't always recognize it until someone steps on one and you're mad at them. And you don't necessarily understand why you're upset with them, or maybe more encouraged by them. Well, maybe they stepped on a value and it like makes you mad and frustrates you, or they encourage one of your values you didn't even know about it. And so as coaches and as leaders, one of the best things we can do is help people to identify those. It's like giving them an operating system, because the if you will, the core values are the code that's running in our life. It's the thing that makes us go. And it's what Microsoft did when they took code. If you have a computer and you're just typing in code, you and I would, maybe you do, I don't know how to code, but people they wouldn't understand what's going on. But then they took Microsoft's Windows and put an operating system over it. And that's what the values are for us, is that sense, here's my operating system. Here's the thing that identifies the code that's at work in my life. And so for me, that's why they're so important and so crucial. And very few have them. Very few have them. And when you ask them, what are your core values? They're like, I don't even know what those are. And so I think it's an important thing to focus on.
Yeah, and that is so powerful. You have always been a man of integrity. One thing I've appreciated about you, besides your high energy, which I identify with, is the fact that you are a man of integrity and of high values, and somebody that I think is very authentic, somebody that I can really count on because I know what you stand for. And I appreciate that about you.
Well, thank you for your kind words, Russ. Same with you, man. You're just a quality guy, and I love love the stuff that's going on in your life right now. I'm really encouraged by it.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, I wanted to get into a little bit about your great shape and your optimal living, but we don't have time today. You're looking good. You can flex your muscles. We'll have to talk about that next time. But I
Yeah.
want you to give everybody a way to get in touch with you to learn more, whether it's about the Because People Matter, whether it's about whatever's going on in your life.
Yeah.
How do they get a hold of Marshall?
Well, I have social. I have a lot of social media as well. So I have an Instagram page. It's just my name. I use everything in my name at Marshall Snider. My name is Marshall Snider, 2 L's in Marshall and SNIDER, not SNY. And you can email me at marshallsnider@gmail.com. I'm on LinkedIn as Marshall Snider and Facebook as Marshall Snider. So I don't have a bunch of stuff going on there. And that's what's going on. So Russ, thanks for the time. It's great being with you.
You bet. And I know that people also can look into Because People Matter. You have sites on both LinkedIn and
Yeah.
Facebook at least.
Yeah, and you can go to bpmpdx.org for our website at Because People Matter. Love to host people and have them develop their generosity further through their time, treasure, and talent, and being a part of what we're doing. We love it.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, listen, I want you to know how much I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking time to come on with me today.
Yep.
It's been great talking to you and catching up. And so we're going to close out today. Remember, if you want to get in touch with me, it's russhedge.com. Got links to all of my social media and every way to get in touch with me. We appreciate you all being here today. And you just have a great week, and we'll see you next time. See ya.